It's the B-Tatum Show. It's the B-Tatum. 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 It's the B-Tatum Show. It's the B-Tatum Show. It's the B-Tatum. 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 It's the B-Tatum Show.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen and ladies? I got another great interview for you guys, man. I'm so excited to have this young man on my show. Hopefully I can have more inspiring young men on my show, because I think that the key to our success is through young men stepping up, being vocal, being leaders. And so, but this young man in particular, I mean, IG is off the chain. And y'all probably know exactly who he is. I'm going to show you, because I don't need to do a lot of talking. I'm gonna show who he is, and then I'm gonna bring him in for the interview. But y'all just stay tuned 1 second. You gotta watch this video. As soon as you see it, you're gonna know exactly who I'm talking about, and you're probably gonna get more and more excited that I have this young man on the interview. So without further ado,
my hope is
roll the film.
that Facebook, instead of taking it personally that somehow I'm saying Facebook is killing people, that they would do something about the misinformation, the outrageous misinformation about the
You shouldn't be banned from one platform and not others for providing misinformation out there.
These people are exposing themselves for the power-hungry tyrants that they are. As if social media companies haven't been censoring us left and right. And not for speaking misinformation, you can speak complete facts. But if there are facts that don't align with what they deem permissible, you are shadow banned or completely deleted. How about instead of Republicans trying to push shots on people that don't want them, they do something about the censorship that is happening to Americans? Democrats like Nancy Pelosi can question things that we can't. This is from when Trump got elected. What about Stacey Abrams? Nobody fact-checked her. The truth is the enemy of tyrants and dictators.
Let me fix this. Bow. So now I got to get back to y'all know I can go on forever and let his videos play probably for 50 minutes. And you will see how intelligent this young man is, how he's proving people, with facts. He's pointing at them. There ain't no misinformation about what he's saying. It's right there. So without further ado, let's bring in my brother from another mother, my boy Kory Yeshua. What's up, Kory? How you doing, bro?
How's it going, brother? How you doing, man? I'm doing good.
Oh, man, I'm blessed, man. It's blessed to have you on here. I want to start out with this because this is a question that I have, because obviously, I don't think we've met before this. I think I've known of you. You've known of me. I think that you do incredible work. So I said, let me bring him on and interview him. My audience is going to meet you almost for the first time, like I'm meeting you. So where you get the name Kory Yeshua?
Actually, my name is Kory. Kory, as you see on the Instagram and my social media. But Yeshua I get from Jesus' name, in Hebrew. So Joshua translate over to Yeshua, Yehoshua in Hebrew. So that's where the Yeshua comes from.
Perfect, dude. That's what I thought, because I know that a lot of people refer to, our Savior as Jesus, and without understanding the context is that more than likely he was probably called Yeshua, Yeshua Mashiach. Is probably more likely what people were calling him at that time. But anyway, this is not a theological discussion. But hey man, where did you? I want to know where you live, where you currently, not your address, but like where you from, man? What state are you in?
I'm from California. Yeah, I was born and raised in California.
Oh, okay. All right. And have you always, because I mean, according to the things that I see you talk about now, you seem to be more conservative. Were you always conservative, or do you have like some type of a conversion story?
Yeah, I got a conversion story, man. No, I would say we grew up more liberal. My grandfather was a pastor though. We went to church, here and there when I was younger, and I was actually in the music industry. I got into music, rapping and doing songs when I was about 7, 8. My dad put us in a group together. And yeah, from there, we pretty much traveled around, doing tours and, just busting our butts, man. And eventually we made it in the music industry, right? And we've been on TV and, did shows with everybody, man, from Chris Brown to,
Really?
like, yeah, a lot of people, man.
I gotta look up these shows. How old were you when y'all were doing this?
I was around 17, so yeah,
okay.
that was a while ago.
A while ago. How old are you now, man? You still look young, man.
I actually just turned 32, man.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. So
still got a baby face, man.
Thank you, man. Yeah, my parents look super young too. So
yeah.
But yeah, so that's pretty much a tiny bit of my story, man. A lot of people don't know. I actually come from the music industry. I don't talk about being a rapper and stuff like that a lot, but yeah, that's my past. So yeah, I pretty much was in the music industry, man. Drugs and rock and roll and women and things like that. And a lot of things end up happening in my life. And my mom actually took me to church one day, and I was able to see God in a different light, a way I'd never seen him before. I started to study, right? I actually started to read the Bible. I started to learn about the early church.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it blew my mind, man, because before all we knew, you go to church once a week, maybe, right? When you were younger, you got pulled to church. You didn't really want to go to church. You just went because you were forced to go, and yeah, so as an adult and being pulled in there after, like God was calling me and getting pulled to church after I'd already experienced so many different crazy things. I got pulled back to the church, got pulled to God, and developed that relationship with him. I got to know the Lord, something that I hadn't known before. I knew religion and I seen religion, and it wasn't something that I wanted to be a part of, right? I just felt like it was a lot of the church to me was just not real, So once I really got to know God one-on-one, it blew my mind,
That's awesome, man. Did that lead you to being more conservative, or were you conservative before you came to the Lord, or like how did that work?
So when I first went into the church, I would say, of course, I was liberal. Like I said, I was in the music industry and things like that. But as I started to, develop values, I started to lean more toward conservatism, and because I was becoming a Christian, you know what I mean? I was accepting the Lord. So I started to not look so good on things like abortion, and I wanted to know why people were Democrats and Republicans, because growing up, my family voted Democrat. That was pretty much all we knew. My family voted for Obama twice, both times, and they were like screaming in excitement when he won. Like I remember my parents like crying, like watching the inauguration and just like crying, And I didn't vote for Obama back then. No, I always felt it was something a little weird with him, like So I wasn't really for voting for him. Actually, I wasn't really into politics that much, but even so, a lot of people voted for him that weren't into politics. But I always felt it was something a little funny with him. The only Republican that I knew in my family was an aunt. And I remember when I was younger, I seen the back of her car one day. She had this little Honda and it had a Bush sticker on the back. And I always thought that was strange. I'm like, why do we have an aunt who has a Bush sticker on the back? I know we don't go for that side, so it was just, strange to me. So yeah, and then Trump came along, right, and you had the race, and yeah. So at first I didn't like Trump. I actually was for Bernie, believe it or not. I used to watch people like the Young Turks and things like that, and that's where I got my news from.
Yeah.
So I was actually for Bernie at first, believe it or not. I seen Trump. I kind of went along with the mainstream narrative, like, oh, he's just a racist dude. I wasn't even really paying him no mind, no attention. But then as time started to go on, I'm seeing how the media just taking his words and twisting what he says. Like, he'll say something, and then the media will take that and just twist it into what they want him to say. They're putting words in his mouth, things he never said, right? So that is kind of starting with that. You know what I mean? I'm like, that's a little weird, man. That's a little funny, like.
And so you have a beautiful daughter, and she's amazing, and you were teaching her. I mean, obviously she's more knowledgeable than some adults about the fails of CRT and how it's important and invaluable to be one nation, and that color doesn't matter, and all of these great things. And obviously she doesn't know these things through osmosis. You being a great father, which is what I alluded to in the video that I made about you. You being a great father is you teaching her these things. So tell me a little bit about your daughter and kind of what was the inspiration of making that video.
Yeah, so actually she had a situation that took place at her school that I did a video on even prior to that video happening. They showed her, and she was 6 at the time. She just turned 7. They showed her a video of like segregation, of black kids not being able to play with white kids. And, she came to me and asked me, Daddy, why weren't white kids able to play with black kids? And prior to that, I hadn't broke down things like segregation with my daughter and Jim Crow. She's 6. You know what I mean? So you don't talk to a 6-year-old about things like that. So, there was that. I did a video on that, right? And then I had different parents and teachers sending me things of things that were going on in school, like this anti-racism and critical race theory that's been going around the school, the different curriculums, right? And I've seen what they've been pushing on kids, and I'm seeing in the news it's happening over here, it's happening over there. So I'm like, man, let me and my daughter get on here and really show people, the values that I instill in her, and the color blindness that I teach her, right? Because this is America, man. That's how we got to start looking at it. If you teach your child that they're going to have all these obstacles and they're not going to be able to overcome, or they're being oppressed by the white man. If you teach a black child that they're going to go throughout life believing that they're oppressed, they're going to believe that they're inferior. Right. So, and the same thing when you teach a white child, they can start to feel like, they're not nothing because of things that happened in the past in America, and they'll feel like, oh, I'm the oppressor to my best friend at school who's black, or I'm the oppressor to my cousin that's half black, or, you know what I mean? Then the half black child is like, oh, I'm half oppressor, I'm half oppressed, So I just wanted to get on and show people a little of what I teach my daughter.
Yeah, I thought that was great, man. I thought that was great. So how many children do you have?
I have 3. I have 3 kids.
3 kids.
3 daughters.
3 daughters. 3 daughters.
Right.
That's got to be tough. I mean, as a man, I'm like, I wanted sons, and I had 2 sons, but now my wife obviously, she wanted a daughter. We thought my youngest baby was going to be a girl. We just knew it. And then Candace Owens' dad and I we were really close. So he came over our house one day and he said, I feel it. All of a sudden, I feel it. It's going to be a boy. And he was right. It was a boy, so, but anyway.
I heard that so many times, like so many different people telling me it's going to be a boy. Actually, each time I heard that it was going to be a boy, and that starts with Royalty, which is my oldest, the one you guys seen in the video. There was a, when we went to do the ultrasound, like they put the ultrasound up on the, the big screen, right? And they were like, okay, look at those 2 little things right there. And I'm like, oh, it's a boy, it's a boy. She's like, no, those are labia lips. So I was all excited. I'm like, you know what I mean? It's your first kid, as a man, you want a son, but honestly, man, it's been a blessing to have my daughters. They have taught me so much. They showed me so much about, just raising little girls to be women. You know what I mean? And the value of of little girls and women and protecting them, man. It showed me how to be a protector.
Yeah.
You know, it's a beautiful thing, man. I love my babies.
Yeah. And you're married, right?
Right. I'm
Yeah.
married.
And that's a blessing. You know, I'm married now too. So that's a blessing because I think it's incredibly important us, you know, pivoting a little bit of fathers being, you know, especially young black men, you know, because we're still young. You know, I'm in my 30s. I think I'm like 2 years older than you. I'm in my 30s, and I think it's incredibly important for black men to be married and to raise your children and be an example. Because you know, I'm gonna say this, and people may get in their feelings about it, but I think that a lot of black men that I know are incredibly talented, incredibly charismatic, and they got a lot of value to bring to the family. And for some reason, unfortunately, due to culture or whatever the case may be, a lot of these young boys are growing up without such an inspirational person in their lives that they can show them who they can be and even greater. So I wasn't always married. You know, I had my son out of wedlock when I was in college, and I tell you what, it's very challenging. And I'll tell any young man or whatever, do not have children out of wedlock. That should be a goal to not do that. And if you do, you make a mistake, you do that, you make the best of it. But I'd say don't do it. I had my first son. He'll be 11 next month. And you know, I have my son Bo. He's 5 months. He'll be 6 months next month. And me and my wife Korean got married when we had Bo. However, I wasn't married before. I think it's an incredible different experience that I had before than now. Now that I'm married, being able to see my son every single day, you know, my youngest. So tell us about your journey, man. You know, we talked a little bit before the interview. You were telling me that you weren't married initially when you had your oldest daughter. Talk to us a little bit about that.
Right. So me and my wife actually met in high school. You know, she was 16, I was 17. You know, so we met really young. I mean, we didn't have royalty till, you know, some years later. You know, we were already adults and everything, but you know, we went through it. You know, we had gone through things in our relationship, up and downs. You know, broke up, got back together, broke up, got back together. You know, the young thing that you do. But eventually, you know, like I said, I found God, right, and He changed me. It wasn't so much me changing me. You know what I mean? He changed me from the inside. You know, from the inside out. So, you know, I was able to act on those things that He gave me, you know, those principles that He gave me within His word and within His spirit, you know what I mean? And I went and I married her, you know, and we had two more children, two more daughters, you know, and my family's been a blessing. I love my family, man, and I wouldn't trade them for the world, you know.
Yeah, dude,
I know friends, I've had friends that grew up without their fathers in their life. You know, I actually have one right now doing about 17 years. I think he got like 12 left to do. And I talked to him, man, and it's hard on him. You know what I mean? It was hard on him growing up, you know, but he was able to come around, you know, me and see, you know, how I did things, and he appreciates, you know, what I'm doing now. He's seen me before, and now he sees me now, you know, and he just appreciates it. You know what I mean? But yeah, I think that we got to start staying in our children's lives, man. It is so important. It's so important to put the black father back in the household.
Yeah, I think it's an incredible blessing. Were your parents together, or were they separated? Your dad was around. Like, how was your family dynamic?
Yeah, my mom and dad are together. Have been together for over 30 years.
Awesome.
They've had, you know, times in their marriage and things. You know, my dad went away for a little bit and, you know, came back. But they've been married the whole time. Like my mom and dad. Like I said, I was in the music industry. My dad was actually my manager, so we had more of a growing up that type of relationship. Once I hit that age where we joined the group, we had kind of that type of relationship, like manager, you know, client type of relationship, you know what I mean? But my dad was a father, man. I appreciate my dad being there. And now that I'm a father, I can see, like, you know, you know what I mean? When you become a father, it's like, okay, it ain't so easy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Hey, why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? You know what I mean? I think it's important that my dad was in my life, man. And he definitely taught me some things. And I see now that I can, you know, pass on to my kids. You know what I mean? That was passed on to him because, like I said, my grandfather was a pastor and his father was a pastor, you know? So, yeah.
Yeah, bro. I think that's incredible, man. Like, I think that this is one thing that I learned too in this fatherhood thing, man. It's like when I became a father, I began to appreciate my daddy way more, you know, because my daddy was always there. You know, my mom and daddy wasn't together. They couldn't stand each other almost my whole life. They couldn't stand. They had beef all the time. And you know, whoever's fault it was is irrelevant at this point. But, you know, they didn't really like each other. However, my dad was always there. My dad, at one point, my mom and dad lived in the same apartment complex. You know what I'm saying? And my dad was there from the very beginning. My dad's still there. And like, you know, even though they were separated, it was incredibly important for me to know who he was. And because that's my identity. And I think that a lot of young men can get discouraged because I know women aren't always easy to deal with. And sometimes they play the kids on you and do stuff like that. But when just being there, being present, like you don't even have to physically be there, just be tangible to your son. You know, because when I say you don't have to physically be there, meaning that if you're in a situation where baby mama then moved out of the state, or you know, you can't see your kids like you want to because of whatever reason, but be present there in the fact that they can contact you. They know who you are. You exist. You know, you try to be around as much as you can. You send cards. You do things that's incredibly invaluable for your young people, for your young children, because then eventually they grow up and then they build a relationship with you or whatever the case may be. If you are in a negative predicament, and then they become they learn to appreciate you, especially when they start having children. And you don't want to wake up one day and be at a deficit thinking like, what if I would have done this? Or I should have spent more time, or I should have been involved. You don't want to live like that. So I think it's incredible. Your story, your father, how you've raised your girls, even your oldest girl is going to be a leader to the younger girls. I mean, I think that's incredible. So let's I want to jump to some politics real quick, because obviously my channel talks a lot about politics, man. What is your thoughts on this, the masks and the COVID-19? You know, you don't have to say nothing crazy and, you know, get us banned, but, you know, what's your thoughts on that, man? Just as a person explaining your feelings about all of this stuff that's going on surrounding COVID-19.
Yeah, so, you know, I find it when I go to stores, man, when I go, because, you know, I'm in California, so this is like, you know,
ground zero.
Crazy. It's like the hub of a lot of different things, you know, like the lockdown and everything else. So, you know, when I go around, man, I just feel like before, when I used to look around and, you know, now you see everybody with masks on, and it's like, it doesn't feel like America in a way, man. You know what I mean? Like it's foreign. It's like you used to watch videos, you know what I mean, where you would see people in China and you know, Japan and things with masks on, but now it's like you're seeing it in America everywhere, and it's just crazy to see. You know, it's crazy that we've gone to this place, and then, you know, you see everybody on the news and the mainstream media with this, you know, shot thing, and like pushing and forcing it down people's throats. And it's like, man, this is America, man. Like, we have freedoms. Why are they trying to make us put things on our body we don't want to put on our body? Why are they trying to make us put things in our body we don't want to put in our body? I thought it was my body, my choice. They used to love yelling that out. But now it's like, you know, when it comes to the mask and the shot, the jab, you know, it's like it's just crazy, man. I don't like it at all. I really don't.
Yeah, man, it's been a frustrating journey for me, because it just doesn't make any sense. Like, I would be for participating, right? Freely participating in this push to, you know, help out my fellow Americans if it actually made sense. You know, like if they had some masks, like an N95 mask that they provided to every single person, or a mask that they can prove that will eliminate you from giving or getting this particular deadly virus, then I wouldn't trip. If I would go to the airport and they want you to wear a mask walking around the airport, and they want you to wear a mask on a plane, but they make you sit 6 feet apart on an airplane, and then there was fresh air coming in on a 5-hour flight, I would say, okay, that does make sense. Maybe they really care, but it's not. That's not what's happening in America. You go to a restaurant with a mask on, you sit down, you take the mask off. You get in the airport, they go social distance and wear a mask, and then you crowd 50, 60 people together to get in line to get on an airplane with 100, 200 people in there. And, you know, everybody's masked up. Everybody's sitting right next to each other. You go to drink water, you pull your mask down and drink. You know, none of it makes sense. And then they want you to get this jab thing. And it's like, you know what? influenza was very prominent. People have died from influenza. In 2018, it was 80,000 people that died from influenza, and almost 1 million people were hospitalized. Not one time was it mandatory. And so when you look at this new wave, you say, why can't people make their own healthcare decisions? You know what I mean? If I don't want to take it, then I don't take it. And if there are people out here that don't take it, and it's not safe for me to go out, if I'm the type of person that want to take it, then how about I just not go out? How about I just get my food ordered? How about I wear a mask and get triple vaccines? You're like, and the thing is, and I'll let you jump in here, but if this is my thing. If social distancing works, then why do you need to wear a mask? If wearing a mask work, why do you need the social distance? If social distancing and wearing a mask work, why do you need the jab? If the jab work, why do you need the social distance and wear a mask after you got the jab? It tells you that these things are so inconsistent that it's hard to even get on board, and they want to blame conspiracy theorists.
Right. They want to call us all conspiracy theorists when it's like, dude, we just trying to make common sense. You know what I mean? Like what you just said. If the shot worked, then it's like, why do we gotta wear the mask? Why do we gotta get, now they talking about everybody who hasn't got the shot need to get the shot because now this new thing is going around. But it's like, man, come on, man. So the people that got the shot the first time, do they gotta get another shot?
Yeah.
That's my question. Do they gotta get another shot? Because you just told them if they got this shot, everything gonna be all right, kumbaya. So now the people that just had that shot and went through that, and there were some people that probably didn't really want to get it, but they got it because you had the media and everybody, all the politicians and everybody else, saying that they needed to get it. So they went out and got it, and for the people that didn't get it or haven't got it, maybe they have medical issues. And a lot of people have medical issues to why they don't want to get it, because it's a risk to their health. So it's like, are you calling those people are they endangering people's lives too? I seen Biden say what he said, and it's like, come on, man. It's just, I don't think we should be forced to do any of these things. You know what I mean? I think we should have the decision to choose, the freedom to choose.
Right. Because the my body, my choice mantra is real. However, in an abortion sense, it's not your body. You got another body in your body. So it's not just your body. So you can't say my body, my choice. And let me say this. I want to go to the abortion thing because this is what I always talk about and I always think about when abortions come. People say, Brandon, obviously I'm pro-life. And I often say, and sometimes people, they get confused when I say this, but I say it anyway. Oh, I like that. I like that shirt. So, a lot of people say, I say I'm pro-life, and then I troll people a little bit and I say, I'm also pro-choice. And they go, what? I'm like, yeah, the choice was in the bedroom. That was you bumping and grinding, pumping and sweating. That was your choice right there. You didn't have to do that. And now that you've made your choice in the bedroom, the clinic is an aftermath of that. You don't have a choice anymore. You already had one when y'all was bumping and grinding or wherever y'all was doing it at. So I would like for people to have the rationale to say, you do have a choice. It is your body, your choice. But when you have another human being growing inside of you, you now have another body, another heartbeat, another human being unobstructed is going to turn into people like you and I, or your 3 beautiful daughters and my 2 sons. Like it's unobstructed. That seed in you, it will become a human at some point. What's your thoughts on abortions and stuff like that?
Yeah, man, I'm absolutely, like I said, anti-abortion. I'm absolutely pro-life. And I don't believe that we should be. I believe it was over 20 million black babies, just black babies alone, that have been aborted since 1973. So just that alone, that's just, we talking black babies just there. You know what I mean? And then you see how they got them all in our neighborhoods, all through the inner cities, so. And I'm against abortion, period. When it comes to any color baby, I don't want no babies dying, right? I don't want no babies being murdered, because that's what it is. It's murder, period, point blank. But yeah, man, I post about that all the time, man, being against abortion. And I think that, we also have to start stressing, man, as conservatives, like the after, after people have the babies, right? Because they always want to talk about that. Well, y'all don't care about once the babies get here, man. And we do care about, especially as Christians, we care about once the babies get here, and I think we need to have more opportunity for parents, once they have the baby, or women once they have the baby, like, look, man, we here with you. We need to be pushing at you at the same time as we saying, you know, don't kill the baby, don't kill the baby. We also need to tell the women, like, we here for y'all. You know what I mean? We need to push that more too.
1,000%, man. I remember I saw some people protesting at the Planned Parenthood one time, and I was like, you know, I'm not feeling that. Like, I'm not here to unless the young lady going to that door turn around and say I can't do it, and I say I can help you. I'm willing to help you. If I'm not willing to help you with the responsibility of you not getting rid of your kid, I'm not going to protest you, because a lot of people have all kind of different scenarios that they go through in their own mind, their own life. They feel like it's legitimate. If I'm going to tell you it's illegitimate, then I'm going to give you a way out. I'm going to help you. I'm not just going to talk to you. I'm not going to tell you, oh, you go do this. How dare you, go into hell? And then they say, okay, I'll have it. And then they live in poverty and then they want to kill themselves because they don't have a life. It's like, no. If I'm going to tell you to turn your back at Planned Parenthood, then at least I can do is to give you some assistance, either show you a way to adoption agency, or help you maintain. And once you have the baby, help you a little bit, whatever it may be, whether it's some groceries or something. I'm gonna do something, or put together a group of people that can help you. Like, you made an incredible point, because it's easy to say, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this. But man, when you poor, or something has happened to you, whether somebody raped you or whatever, you got to survive. You know what I'm saying? And nobody's going to pay those bills and change those diapers for you while you're trying to get a job and an education, and you got an abusive husband or whatever. So that's why I think that you made a good point there, that people do need to step up and help if they're going to criticize.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Yeah. I haven't seen that a lot. You know what I mean? At least on our side, as far as when you know, talking about the anti-abortion, when you're pushing like not killing babies anymore. I haven't seen a lot of that. I know there's people that, you know, do it. I'm just saying, the more so I see people being anti-abortion, but we also got to be there for the women. You know what I mean? And like you said, not leaving our women. You know what I mean? Not leaving our women to go and, you know, make decisions like that, or leaving the mother of your child, man, and sticking with our babies. You know what I mean? Because it first starts, you know, with the family, dude. Like, we got to keep families together, man. We got to push for, you know, keeping family units together, because that's how we thrive.
Right. And it's biblical. It's biblical. If a person is a spiritual being, or you believe in this spirituality and the covenant between God and man, then you realize that there's a spiritual lineage that you need to have, or alignment that you need to have, that'll make your life much better. And that alignment is that the head of Christ is God, the head of the church is Christ, and the head of the man is Christ, and the head of the household is the man. I know I'm saying it seemed like I said it all crooked, but you know, the head of the church is Christ, the head of the household is the man, and the head of Christ is God. That alignment, once you put that in the place like it's supposed to be, I think God can bless you, and I think God will bless your situation. I've been more blessed since I've been married than when I was single. And I think because God values covenants. And since I've been saved, I've been more blessed than I wasn't saved. So when you put those things together, you know, I feel like God has an incredible way of blessing you just on GP. You know what I'm saying? I don't even think it's nothing that you got to necessarily do. You kind of walk into a line of blessings when you align yourself with what the Bible says. And I wish people would understand that more. And if we did, we'll understand the value of relationship with God, and understand the value of being married and procreating.
Right. And that's what we're seeing now, man. Just a bunch of lawlessness going on, because, you know, we pretty much took the Bible out of our households. We took the Bible out of schools. And what was to come and fill those voids? You know what I mean? Man's wisdom. That's what critical race theory is. You know, we couldn't have the Bible in school and prayer in schools, but we can have critical race theory in schools now. So, you know, yeah, man, I think man has just tried to create their own, you know, way of their own 10 commandments and their own laws. And you know what I mean? Like, and this is how it's turning out, what we're seeing now play out in, you know, American society and around the world, you know.
100%. Now you're a resident of California, Californian. I would say I'm sorry to hear that, but I think California is incredibly beautiful, man. I really do think that if somebody can get there and turn it around, and that's going to take maybe a couple decades, but if somebody can turn it around, it could be probably the most beautiful state to live in. I was there for maybe a couple months when me and my wife met. She had an apartment there, so I stayed there before we got married and moved here, or whatever the case may be. And I loved it. I thought it was great outside of the traffic and the homelessness and stuff like that. But the beach and, you know, the mountains and the beautiful views. I mean, it was pretty popping, man. So with that being said, there's obviously a recall. And I know for a fact, just listening to you speak, that you are supportive of the recall. Who do you think will be the governor? Who do you think has the best chance of being the governor in this recall?
I seen a couple people, man. I haven't seen anybody yet that really sparks my interest. But honestly, man, I'm gonna be honest with you, man. Gavin Newsom gotta go, man. He has to go. So it's like, whether it be Larry, or I don't know if that not that one other guy. I don't want to say his name like that, but yeah. So I mean, Larry would be cool, man. But I think, I don't know if Larry's against abortion. I don't know if he's really against the agenda of pushing sexuality on kids in school, or critical race theory. I don't know if he's against those things, man. But I definitely think we got to get rid of Gavin.
Yeah, I think it's, like my wife, she's born and raised in California. All her family still lives in California. And we used to listen to this radio show, and I can't think of the name of the guys on there, and they used to just rip Gavin Newsom every single day on there on legitimate stuff, man, fact-based stuff that you're like, how in the world is the governor allowing this to happen? The state has this trolley system or this trans system that the billions of dollars invested into it, and they ain't got nowhere. It's the train to nowhere, dude. We see the big pillars and stuff that they're building, and there's nothing there, no tracks, no nothing. And they $1 billion deep, and so you see things like that. You see the homelessness that's out of control. They shut the whole state down and had people going out of businesses. The fires are out of control. Nobody's being held accountable in a lot of these circumstances. So if I was a resident of California, I would for sure think that something has to change. I mean, even if you don't like a Republican, and you're in California, you have to at least stick it to the Democrat and say, look, we're going to get rid of you. We'll get rid of you for X amount of months. We'll come back and vote for you in 2022 election. But brother, we can't accept this. Gavin Newsom telling you to wear a mask, and then he flying to Napa Valley, not wearing a mask at a private event, and then lying about it. Then when he get a video of him, he said, people make mistakes. It's like, nah, bro, you can't do
right.
It.
He out to eat, at I think it was called the French Laundry and things, and it's just crazy, man. The double standard and the hypocrisy that we see, and the guys trying to come out and say this is a Republican led, this and that. And man, come on, dude. I know that there's Democrats. I know Democrats that don't want you in there no more. I know liberals that don't want you in there no more. This is not just about, conservatives and Republicans. Like, you messed up a lot of people's, lives, man, and livelihoods, right? So, yeah, man, lockdowns and all. Yeah, man, you got to go, buddy. You got to go.
You got to G, man. You got to get about that. You think you're going to stay in California? Are you?
No,
you may
I'm
move
out of here, man. I got to get my out of here, man. I'm shit. Hey, I'm being, I'm just being straight up, man. I got to get my family out of here because it's getting too crazy, man. It's getting too crazy. Like you said, the homelessness, then you got the crime, the gangs. It's a shooting here and there. My brother was murdered out here.
Really?
You know what I mean? So yeah, man, up north, and yeah, man, I got to get my family out of here, brother. I got to get my family out of here.
Yeah, I feel you, man. Where you think about moving to if you had a choice? Like, what's your top three?
Honestly, it's out of, Arizona, Texas, of course, then you got Florida, but I don't know if I want to go to Florida, though. I don't know about Florida, but definitely out of like Texas and Arizona, because I actually have a cousin in Arizona already, a couple cousins in Arizona, actually. But
oh, really? What part?
I don't know, man. I just know they're out there in Arizona. I know that, the weather's really hot out there. I actually drove through there one time. It was extremely hot at nighttime. I was like, oh my, it was like in the hundreds at nighttime. I'm like, what is this? Like, I've never felt this. But yeah, so it's out of those two.
Yeah, man. I grew up in Texas, born and raised Fort Worth, Texas. Went to Paul Lawrence Dunbar High School, historically black high school, and I like Texas, man. The severe weather was too much for me, man, and the mosquitoes and the humidity. I moved to Arizona, and of course the summers are brutal, man. It's like going to hell, and you still in hell at night too, because it's 105 and stuff at night, all night. It probably dropped to like 99 when the sunrise, and however, majority of the year, I think like 4 months out of the year is unbearable. 3 to 4 months out of the year is unbearable. The rest of the year is absolutely beautiful. Clear skies, no humidity, 65, 70 every day. It gets cool at night. If you want to go skiing, you drive, 2 hours north of Flagstaff. You can go skiing from Phoenix. You can go to Sedona, the Blue Red Rock. They have little rivers here, and you can drive to California for 6 hours. Take a flight, 1 hour. You can go to Texas, 2-hour flight. You go to Utah. Like it's a lot of little places you can go right around here. That I'm trying to sell you on Arizona because I think Arizona is the place to be. But
yeah, man. I was looking at it. I was looking at it. I think my wife was like, "Man, it's really hot out there, though."
It's hot.
But she actually has a cousin out there too, though. So, that might be the place. Texas. Yeah, what happened with that winter storm? Was that a winter storm that happened in Texas, man? Like, what was that about?
Yeah, well, Texas is completely unpredictable. Like the weather is unpredictable. Like, I mean, it could be sleeting one day and a hailstorm, a tornado warning, and then it could be sunny, and then later on that evening it's a snowstorm. Like Texas is so unpredictable with the weather. I think they did have this crazy snowstorm that was like, the first time it happened in decades of weather, in Texas. When I grew up in Texas, 18 years of my life, and we never had anything like I saw more recently of the winter storm that happened in Texas. It was mostly just sleet, a little bit of snow here and there, but Texas weather is just too unpredictable for me. However, I'd say that the taxes in Texas may be a little better. You can get more for bang for your buck in Texas financially. But I'm addicted to Arizona, man. I like it, man. It's home for me, but eventually I want God to bless me enough where I could have a summer house somewhere else so we can escape the heat, man. But let me throw this out here, because I think that you're a Christian, I'm a Christian, and I just want to talk about this for a minute because I think it's important. The value of the church and the impact of the church that you feel is having on society today, the negative and positive impact. So what do you think the church is doing to help or hurt our situation here in this country?
Right. I would say, are you talking about like the black church, or what do you mean? Because
yeah, I'd say more of the black church. And the reason I say that is because historically I've gone to black churches, all black churches. And that's why I grew up in a black church. And I think the black church has a tremendous amount of influence on black people, who I think have a tremendous influence if they would use it in the right direction. So what are you thinking about, like the role of the black church and how it influences the black family and stuff like that?
Yeah, I think they have a significant role, man. I think they have a lot of influence over a lot of different minds. You know what I mean? If it's not, the young person that goes to this church, it's his grandma or it's his mom or it's his auntie, that's going to tell him about, about God and things like that. So when the black church has aligned itself with, Marxism, when the black church have aligned itself with groups like Black Lives Matter, who we know on their website, they said they want to get rid of the nuclear family, right? And who suffers the most from not having a nuclear family in the home? We do.
Right.
You know what I mean? So you align yourself with that, right? And then you align yourself with a group that says nothing about the abortion that's going on, when the highest abortion rates are where? In our communities. So it's like, and then you take it a step further and you say, okay, they align themselves with this group, but this group talking about police brutality. Okay, but does this group ever say anything about black men killing black men?
Right.
No, I don't see that coming from, like, you can look at Black Lives Matter Twitter. I post about them, here and there. I used to go really, really hard on them. I don't post them every day now. You know what I mean? Because I think people kind of getting the hint about BLM, but because they're like exposing themselves, man, like with this whole Cuba situation and all that. But yeah, man, the black church definitely plays a big role, man, in our communities, man. And it's like, I don't understand why we can't like see what's right in front of us, like the obvious. I'm not gonna say every black church, because I've seen black pastors that are like vehemently against like BLM and what they're doing, and but to be sold out to the Democrat Party like so much, so many of us, is like, it's gotta stop, man. It's like, it's God first or the Democrat Party first,
Right.
Like, what is it? What was it, like 70-something% this last election, or 80%? It's like, how do 80% of people voting for one? That doesn't even make sense, man. It doesn't make sense. It's scary, man. It's really scary.
And we're the only group of people that's doing that, like that, at those radical numbers. You know, even white people don't vote like that. You know, Hispanic people don't vote like that. It's uniquely the black community that vote heavily for Democrats, and it's crazy to me. So, but anyway, man, I think we're running out of time. I like to do like just an hour interview. We touch on some things. People get a chance to get to know you a little better. But I want you to tell people, how can they follow you, Kory? I know you have Kory Yeshua, I think, on the IG. But tell them where they can follow you. If you got merch, if you got, you know, different things that you're doing, let people know where they can support you.
Yeah, so I'm about to start getting back on YouTube, man. I posted a couple videos. I probably have like 7 videos on YouTube, but I'm about to start getting back on there. So I'm Kory Yeshua on YouTube. I'm Kory Yeshua on Instagram. Kory Yeshua on Facebook. Kory Yeshua on Twitter. And yeah, you guys can follow me there. I have, you know, merch, as you can see here. You know what I'm pro and what I'm anti, just a little bit, not everything. But yeah, so I have my merch link on there. You can go on my Instagram and see the link in the bio. And yeah.
Well, I appreciate you, brother, man. Thank you for coming on, man. You have a beautiful daughter, beautiful family, God-fearing man, husband. You know, I'm incredibly proud of you, man. And I love watching your content. Keep putting up the good work, man. I'm telling you, you come and do these same things on YouTube, you're gonna blow YouTube out of the water, bro. You're gonna blow YouTube out of the water, because I think your content is really good and it's proof driven. So I appreciate you, man. We got to connect, man. You come to Arizona, you already know, man. You and the family can come stay with us, man, if you like. But holler at me when you come to Arizona. I really appreciate you. Hang on. I'm gonna come off, and then we'll have a chat after the live. I'll close it out. So just hang in there. But thank you for being on, brother. So end of the show, man. What y'all think about Kory? Write comments in the comment section. Your boy gonna get better at the interviews, man. I'm not used to interviewing people, but I think I'm gonna get better at it. It's funny because I look at Joe Rogan and I'm like, you know, you take for granted how effective interviewers are. And for me, it's like, man, I'm learning how to interview people. I'm used to just running my mouth the whole time. My wife would attest to that. So, but thank you guys for joining. Thank you for watching. Make sure you hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Go follow Kory on all of his social media platforms. I'll see you guys on the next one. I'm out.